What's up, everybody? You are watching a new episode of the Juicebox Heroes podcast. I'm one of your hosts, PK. As always, we have the Dubon Fan Club president, Mr. Chris Moreno, and we got Mr. Bryles in the house. Guys, how y'all doing?
Man, doing good. I'm at the point where I think I'm over all this rain. I'm ready for the fields to dry, and I am ready to get this little league season up and running. Yeah. So there you go.
Sweet.
Bryles, how are you doing on this fantastic evening? Nope, you unmute yourself, Mike Bryles.
My bad.
There we go.
Anyway, yeah, no, I'm staying dry. Hopefully, like I said, same thing with you, like getting the fields dry. And other than that, just looking forward to a little bit more action going on the hot stove. We've seen a couple things moving around, but not nothing too exciting as of the last time we were on. PK, what you got?
Man, same old stuff, different day. Same as you guys. Well, minus the Little League baseball stuff. So, but yeah, pretty slow on the signings front for the Astros. We do have a little bit of breaking news, only because the Astros were kind of reported here recently as possibly going after Polanco. But he is now signed with the Mariners, re-signed with the Mariners. So thank God for that one.
Yeah, good.
Thank God for that one. So still waiting on the Bregman to see what the hell is going to happen with that. There was a little bit of word we talked about possibly Astros coming to possibly an agreement with Jason Hayward, the reserve lefty outfield. Y'all know the deal with him, another backup guy, but it is another lefty at bat. So that's kind of where we're at, man. But look, before we get going into everything, I need to do a little plug for my barber, man. Like, so if you guys are looking for a great cut, a great beard trim, I need y'all to go see my guy Jose. He's at the Headliners Barbershop off of Leak City Parkway. Great dude. He's on Instagram at jcast_barber310. Make sure you go follow him, check him out. Tell him PK from the Juicebox Heroes podcast sent you, and let's get this guy some more clientele. But with that, like I said, we've got a good little episode, I think, going on. We've got some Presley. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you did see Presley's recent video interview where he was doing his pitch for Breggy to the Cubs. Of course, we still have the saga going on with Bregman and what are they doing? What are we going to do? And then we're going to tie this all back into each of us has picked a one-hit wonder for the Astros. So, Chris, let's start with you, man. What do you think of the Presley video with the pitch to have Breggy come to Chicago?
I mean, I don't know, man. It's a cool story. But we've already read the reports saying that they weren't going to offer him any more than 3 years. At this point, he's been Bregman's teammate for about 5 seasons now.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's just, I get it. Who wouldn't want, to bring on another third baseman, to join him and, Kyle Tucker over there in Chicago. But I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't see anybody ponying up what the Astros are offering. So, I get it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I feel like that was somebody talking that didn't have the pen in their hand for the checkbook. So it doesn't really matter anyway. If the GM would have came out and said, hey, yeah, we're looking to sign Bregman, this is kind of what we're hoping for, yada, yada, yada. Great. But yeah, just Presley hoping and saying, hey, look, we really want you to come to the Cubs now. Like, okay, that's not going to make him come. So it's you're kind of putting the cart before the horse. So it's unless you're writing a check or at least an offer saying, hey, 6 years and more than apparently $156 million, then I don't see any of that happening. So it's just all speculation and it's just all hopes and dreams for Presley and the Cubs, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it's the Cubs are going to have to come up off this 7 years, give him the 7th, maybe 8th year, increase the total value. I mean, what are the Cubs playing for going into 25, right? I mean, that's kind of, you always hear about the Cubs being in the ring for some of these players just because they are that big market. They can, spend some money. I just don't see it. I think it's more of like, this is Presley. He wants his boy to come play with him again, type of deal. I don't really see much into it. I still think Houston is probably still the front runner. I'm still under the belief that if there was another offer out there that was better than Houston, I feel like Bregman would have taken that already. So still feel like Houston is the front runner, but it's kind of getting old just kind of talking about it every day, and hearing about it and not really any movement, so I did hear earlier this week, Dana Brown did an interview where he said that he does owe Scott Boras a callback. I think Boras reached out to Dana Brown or texted him, and Dana hadn't reached back out to him yet. So, and he said that in this interview. So maybe there's a little bit of hardball going on with Dana Brown, like getting tired of the Boras nonsense, so yeah, that's kind of what I think about the Presley deal. I don't think it really has any legs, so I think it's just, again, Presley just say, man, I'm here with Tucker. Breggy, why don't you come join us? We'll be Houston North,
Yeah, like I think I'd read something where someone was saying that now the Cubs have become the Houston salary dumping grounds, with really not so much Tucker. Because they're obviously going to get the value from Tucker, but definitely Presley. As we continue to touch on this Bregman saga, my question would be like, the last thing I read was, I guess the Bregman / Boras camp is 1-30 a year. The Astros are at 26. I'm at the point right now that like I'm just meet in the middle, get this thing, get it done, because like, so leading into my question would be, how would you guys feel if through the beginning, I guess round 1 of the saga, it was, are we going to get Bregman back? And then round 2 would be, forget Bregman. We appreciate everything you got. We got Isak Paredes coming. We got Wisniewski coming. Cam Smith coming. Oh man, now we just signed Christian Walker. So now we're back on round 3 of the Bregman saga. How would you guys feel if like nothing came of this? If somehow Bregman ended up going to Toronto for something, like, would you feel like this was a complete waste of time to get your hopes up, or was this kind of like, or are you still kind of reeling yourself in to not get too like knee deep into it in case something like that was to happen?
Excuse me.
I took the breath from Browns. That's how good that delivery was.
Yeah. PK, go
ahead. Okay, so maybe I kind of lost my train of thought. Anyways, what I'm getting at is, so we're on round 3 of this whole thing, right? And so it's starting for me to get to the point where we're either doing this or we're not, right? And obviously that is the end goal. That's what's going to happen. We're either doing it or we're not. But this dragging on from a fan perspective or from a sports radio outsider perspective or a podcast perspective, it's like, God, we're dragging it on, right? Where me personally, I am kind of getting to the point where let's just stay with what we have and let's plan for what we need, which is outfield bats, kind of like how I felt in round 2, which was, I'm cool with Paredes, I'm cool with Cam Smith, I'm cool with Wisniewski coming. That's the team we're going to roll up with on 25. Like, let's go. Because now you're talking about, excuse me, this Altuve is wanting to go to left field, and then Paredes is going to go to second. And that's all if Bregman comes back, right? Now, do I really think that Altuve is going to go to left? I don't know. I feel like he's kind of we've seen the yips from him at second base. Do you really want that guy going to play left field, right? So to answer your question, Chris, I think I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, as good as it would be to have him back, I think I'm going back towards round 2 where I'm just like, I think I'm done with it. I'm ready just to roll forward with my 25 team that we talked about a month ago prior to all the stories popping up. And we don't know what the front office could be in that same boat. They really could be in that same boat where it's like, hey, yeah, we've opened up the conversations with them again, or the door's open, but we really don't anticipate him coming. So that's what probably could be why you're not hearing any movement from the Astros front office, because they're kind of like, maybe they're just tired of the same crap. So to answer your question, Chris, I'm leaning back towards going around 2, where I'm ready just to roll forward with the 25 roster that we talked about a month ago.
Okay. What about you, Browse?
Well, the funny thing is, on the Twitterverse today, they were saying that the Blue Jays actually offered him a contract, but there was zero details on it. There was no years, no money, no nothing. Just that they had offered him a contract. So we have no idea what that looks like. That's the first thing. The second thing, the only other thing that we know is that the only contract the Astros have offered is 6 and 156, and that's still out there from what we understand. We don't know if there's anything that's been changed on that or not. So since we went live after Presley got traded, the one thing I'll say is that if you look, especially at Astros Twitter or anybody else online that's been a huge Astros fan, they were excited about it because they thought that this was going to be the contract moving deal to where we were actually going to be able to afford to get Bregman back. Now, I know everybody wanted it to happen basically overnight. It didn't happen overnight. And kind of like I was saying, it's like Boris is going to play this game. But here's what I think is going to happen. It's either one, that Bregman's going to just tell Boris, like, listen, I am sick and tired of this. This is what I'm going to do. I want to go to the Astros, or I want to go to the Blue Jays, one of these two, because I don't think anybody else is going to offer him a contract at this point and say, that's the team I'm going to, make it happen. Or he's just going to let Boris control it, and this thing's going to play out forever. Now, going to our actual lineup this year and what we're looking at for a starting lineup. Now, I was texting with you guys earlier today, and, we've got our 1 through 9, and I was looking at that, and I'm like, bottom third of that lineup looks pretty weak when it comes to that. So now, do I want Bregman back for the bat? Yes. It's like, listen, I understand that putting Altuve in left field is a defensive issue. I still think they could put Isaac Paredes out there probably and do a better job than what Altuve could. But at the same time, it's like, we really need a big bat in that lineup just for a little bit more protection. It's, if we could go 1 through 7 and not have to worry about it, and then just hide 2 players in that lineup, I'd totally be okay with that. Hiding 3 guys at the bottom of your lineup, that's going to be a problem. I think that's going to end up like giving us a huge amount of losses, especially when we get into the dog days of summer and like August and stuff like that. So to answer your question, I want Bregman back. And I don't think that our lineup is going to be satisfactory with the way it's going. Am I tired of the saga? Yes, everybody's tired of the saga. But when Scott Boras is attached to it, there's going to be a saga, and it's going to be drawn out for as long as it possibly can to get as much money as he possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we go back to our last episode, it wasn't really episode, just kind of a live thing for Presley being traded. I pretty much told everybody that, hey, this, you're gonna have to be patient. This isn't gonna happen on, by Thursday. And
I don't think that's what you said.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly.
I'm pretty sure.
Is that what your bingo card read?
Pretty sure you didn't say that.
I mean, the last portion of this Breggy saga that I will say is that it's a little concerning, because I think the new number now that after they've traded Presley is that they're $5 million under whatever tax threshold that where they're at. So, and the report that came from this was that the only reason that they would go over that is Bregman. So whatever deal they're working out with Hayward, if it is Hayward, if these reports are true, I have a good hunch it's going to be less than $5 million. So,
yeah, look, I'm not saying, even though I'm starting to get back to that round 2 where we'll just let's roll out with what we have. Look, I'm not going to be upset if they bring Bregman back. Like, I'm not. Like, you shouldn't know. I don't think any fan really should be, I mean, but, and Browse, I couldn't agree. Even when you said it really good. If you know Scott Boras and you know what he does with his players, there's always going to be saga. There's always going to be a player or two of his that are in the same situation that Bregman's in year after year. And as frustrating as it gets for fans, or for me in this case, to sit in there and have to, try to get any kind of information day in and day out. I just want it to be over, right? Either sign or we're moving on type of deal. But we all know that's not how it works. So I agree with both of y'all's points. Like I said, for me, wanting to go back to round 2 is solely because it's just unnecessary, but I get it. That's why I am not in the front office of a $1 billion franchise doing.
I get your point too, though.
I mean, really, honestly, here's where I'm coming from: is that should I strike on all this Bregman stuff while it's marked off on the team store, or should I wait just in case?
You make me choke again.
That's how that question actually started. Was.
Hey, that's what it was. It's like, okay, I'm a cheap bastard. Should I strike the Bregman stuff while it's on clearance before he re-signs and it goes back to regular price?
Look, this guy did the same thing when Tucker got traded. He sent us all a text and said, "Hey, all of Tucker's shit on the fan site is marked way off." It's like, yeah, but he's gone, bro.
In case we re-sign him in 2026, we have all this gear that was marked 75% off. You're welcome.
So how much John Singleton gear do you have from like back in the day that was like for $5 at Academy?
None. 0. I wish I did. That would be fantastic. All right, so moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Y'all want to get into the one-hit wonders?
Oh, we didn't even really get into the what Presley said.
Are you going to talk about with Hater? You talking about with Hater?
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't talk about that. You're right. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
So another report came out. I don't know if it was during that same interview where he made his pitch for Senor Bregman, but then he essentially said that him and Dana Brown had beef because I guess he felt betrayed that the Astros went in and got Josh Hader. And before I kind of give my feedback on that, I'll let you guys take it. So how do you guys, because I know we discussed it a lot during the season. Hay was bringing Hader in. Was that going to mentally mess with Presley? Even though he acted like a true professional, he was like, I don't care. I don't care what inning I pitch. I need to get 3 outs. So, but like I said, what do you guys think about him saying that there was beef with him and Dana Brown before, I'll give my feedback in a minute, but I kind of want to hear y'all's feedback on that.
I think from a competitor standpoint, I would be furious if I was Presley.
Okay.
Right? Look at what I've done as your closer. And here, and it's not good enough, or it's not good enough. So you're going to go out and get another closer. So from a competitor standpoint, he should be pissed. He should feel betrayed. Okay, that's the player.
That's fair.
From an organization standpoint, we're trying to get better. And if I can get a Hader and a Presley, Hader's younger, right? Move Presley just like they did, move Presley to the 8th, Hader at 9. Your thought is that your back of the bullpen is effing nails. It's nails. It's done door. That means you got to play I know. That means that you got to play a 7-inning game. You know what I mean? Because you're thinking that in 8, it's over once it gets to the 8th. So I get both sides of it, but from Presley's side, as a competitor, I would be very pissed and very betrayed. But you got to look at it as an organization. Nobody is. Well, I shouldn't say everyone's usually expendable, but you know what I mean. I mean, the organization is trying to get better every time. If they can make a move, they're going to do it, and they did that.
All right, bro.
Well, and that's kind of the hard part, though. It's like, you're looking at it from more of a on paper standpoint, and I guess the analytics. Yeah, do you want Presley and Hader at the same time? Yeah, of course you do. Why wouldn't you? I mean, you've got one of the
And you
top
throw in
closers
Abreu
that
too.
goes out.
Yeah, and Abreu.
Yeah, and Abreu. But anyway, it's to the point like where on paper it looked absolutely amazing. It just didn't work out that way, and that's the way baseball works. It's like you can't throw a bunch of guys that have great stats together and expect them to be perfect every single time together. So and just PK, you nailed it, man. It's like exactly what happened with Presley is I felt like he felt betrayed. He wasn't going to be the closer anymore. He came out, he took the high road just like he should have and said, "Hey, I'm going to do what it takes. I'm here for the team. I'm doing this, I'm doing that." And, I'm a little disappointed that he came out and said any of that stuff in the public now. It's like, I'm glad he's getting the opportunity to go be a closer, but what's the point of that? You took the high road the whole time, and then now you just want to dump on the team that you left. I mean, it's going to leave a little bit of a sour taste in all the Astros fans' mouth just because of the way he's acting about it. Now, does it change anything that he's done for us? No, absolutely not. I mean, I love seeing him in the 2022 World Series, the whole playoffs, everything. Love seeing him in the World Baseball Classic. He was America's closer, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, dude, come on, man. Well, you really didn't have to do that, but I understand the way you feel.
Yeah, exactly. I agree 1,000%. All right, Chris, wrap this thing up.
Okay. All right, real quick. I mean, I think what the Astros had in mind is that they knew they were going into last season with a crap ton of pitching injuries. So I guess they kind of felt like their best play would be you bring in Hader and then you shorten the game, right? Mike.
God.
So you shorten the game and then you let your big three. So when I look at going into last season, you look at the year that Presley had. 2023, his ERA was so in 2022 his ERA was 2.98. In 2023 it was 3.50. Right, he had more strikeouts than he had in 2022. He had more walks, gave up twice the amount of home runs in 2023. And again, this is just kind of like, I mean, nitpicking, but it's like, again, you're looking at Hader, who was like 28, 29, and then you're looking at Presley, who after 2020, he was going into last season at the age of 35. So, I mean, like, I think what the Astros wanted to do was, hey, let's try to keep this dominant back end of the bullpen. And then when Presley fizzles out, due to old age, then you still have Abreu and you have Hader. Now, I agree. From a player perspective, yeah. I mean, what you can't say I can't save any more games. But from an organizational standpoint, it's like, hey, I mean, anybody we can add to make this team better, let's do it. So, I mean, if you compare the last two seasons, 23 and 24, he is steadily declining from what he was in 2022. So
Yeah.
good luck good luck, Cubs. Hopefully, maybe it was a mental thing, but like I said, even in 2023 when he was the closer, there was no Josh Hader. His numbers dipped from 2022. So that's all I got.
Yeah. No, look, man, the organization is going to get better any chance they get. Any organization, that's their job, right? So it's what have you done for me now? Every league, every professional league, what have you done for me now? Okay. So we were tasked this week by
Try to keep the guys busy, give them homework assignments.
Yeah. We were tasked this week with finding one player that was a one-hit wonder for your Houston Astros. So
yeah, before we get into it quick, so I put it out pretty much everywhere. I don't know. Did we put it on X? Did I put it on X? I don't know.
I don't know.
But I know that we got a metric crap ton of replies.
I think you did.
And I mean, like, it was just a lot of them, made sense. A lot of them were, I don't know if people were just being funny. So if you're watching, if you're listening, thank you for, commenting on the post. And all right, I'll turn it back over to PK.
No, I mean, I did my intro. So which one wants to go first?
Browse, you want to go first? Try to keep it at 1, maybe not 5. Browse.
Is he breathing? Oh, there he goes. He's kind of moving.
There we go. You want to go first,
Yeah,
Browse?
sorry, my yeah, I'm here.
All right, give us your.
Sure, I'll go first. So I focused on 2013 through 2017.
Okay.
Number one hit wonder was
the number
Chris Carter from 2014.
Okay.
All right.
That was it. No stats.
That's it.
No stats. Can you guys hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, hold on.
Chris Carter.
No, it was Chris Carter from 2014. The reason I say that is he had the highest WAR of any season that he's had the entire time. And then after, literally, he went from the Astros in 2015, went to Milwaukee, hit 41 home runs, agent market, then went to the Yankees. And then all of a sudden, after he went to the Yankees, he started swinging at balls with his eyes closed. But when we had him, he literally had a 1.9, which was the highest of his career by far.
Okay.
So Chris Carter is my one-hit wonder. I've got 4 more behind it, but you guys go.
All right, PK, you want to go next? Or you want me to go?
Sure, I'll go. All right. So I chose a player from 2012, pitcher named Lucas Harrell.
Okay.
So I just want to read this. This is the opening day starting rotation for the 2012 Astros. Okay.
Ooh.
Wandy Rodriguez was our ace. Lucas Harrell, Bud Norris, J.A. Happ, and Kyle Whelan. Didn't even know that guy pitched for us. But that was anyway. So Lucas Harrell was our number 2 pitcher that year. Okay.
Yes.
His first outing of the season, 7 scoreless, 3 hits, 4 Ks, and a shutout. Okay. So you're like, I think he pitched for the Royals before he came to us, I believe. All right. So in 2012, he had a team best 11 wins, 193 and 2/3 inning pitched, a 3.76 ERA, and a 1.35 WHIP. Now, those were the team best for their starters. Okay. 11 wins.
2012 was a tough year.
It was a tough year, man. But 11 wins was the best. It was the best. So his WAR in 2012. Now he was only with us for 4 years, right? From 12 to 15.
Okay.
In 2012, his WAR was 3.3. In 13, it was minus 1.5, and then in 14 was minus 0.6. So, let's see. So 2012, that was his 1 year good with us. 23, he starts off, we're hoping to replicate that. He ends up getting demoted from the starting rotation to the bullpen, ends up coming back to the starting rotation. He finishes the 2013 season with a league high 17 losses, 5.86 ERA, and a league high 88 walks.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what you say is a one-hit wonder.
There you go.
And then he gets traded to the Diamondbacks, then released, and then signs with the LG Twins out of Korea, and then a couple minor league stints.
There you go.
I'm not making fun of the guy. I'm just saying those are facts. Those are facts. But that was my pick for the Astros one-hit wonder.
Okay, so my one-hit wonder, actually, at first, I thought I had it down. I was going to go with, first I was going to go with Richard Hidalgo, but then I realized he had a couple of pretty good years, so that kind of eliminates him from one-hit wonder. And then, really honestly, it was between the guy I chose and Morgan Ensberg, because Morgan Ensberg had that 1 year. He had 36 bombs.
I thought he had 40.
It was 36? I don't know. All I know is that there was a lot of people that also said Jason Lane, and I was like, oh, yeah that's right. So I think we're going to start a new segment next episode. It's going to be called, oh, yeah, he was an Astro, because it seems like every time we post these, I'll hear a name. I'm like, oh, my God, yeah. He was an Astro. I went with probably the most popular guy on this list. and I went with Jose Lima. And I know
Lima
again, I
time.
know he was beloved in the city, Casa Ole, Lima time. I really couldn't stand Jose Lima back in the day, to be honest with you. Like, it's just so
Fresh
he kind
today.
of
That's all I hear is a Casa Lay song in my head. That's all I hear.
so he kind of had like 2 seasons where he kind of like broke out, but like this guy's epic fall off of humanity when it comes to baseball was so massive that I basically erased his first year that it was a breakout. So that first year that he broke out was 1998. He was 16-8, 370 ERA. But the big year that he broke out was 99. He was 21-10, 358 ERA. He had a 4.5 WAR, pitched 246 innings. He was an all-star, and he finished 4th in Cy Young voting.
His changeup was dirty that year. I mean, filthy in 99.
Yeah, I kid you not, man. This like because that was that same year him and Hampton won 20 games.
Yeah.
So now then we get to 2000. The Astros are no longer in the Astrodome. This was their first year in Enron. And I don't know if Lima ate too much Casa Ole, but he finished the year 7-16 with a negative 0.3 WAR, a Cy Young worthy 6.65 ERA. He led the league in home runs given up with 48, and he also led the league in earned runs with 145. So you're talking like Jose Lima when he had that breakout year, 1999. He was only 26. So you're looking, man, this is a future ace, you know.
Yeah.
And then put it this way: just 1 year removed from that massive year in 2001, he was traded to Detroit. Never again throughout the rest of his career did he see any numbers close to what he did those 2 years with the Astros. Nowhere near what he did in 1999. He played for a handful of major league teams. He played for about every single damn league on this planet. Like he played in Korea, played in Mexico. So my all-time Houston Astro one-hit wonder is Jose Lima.
That's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
And RIP for sure, because I won't forget that 99. I mean, he was filthy, dude.
He was nasty, yeah.
You couldn't touch it, but then you get to old Enron, right? And then that
now Randy Johnson was 97, right?
98.
98, okay. So you still
you had
you had in that rotation Shane Reynolds, who was usually about 16-8, right around there.
Yeah.
You had Hampton, who went 22-4. Then you had Lima, who went 21-10. And I just remember because me telling a buddy, because I had a buddy that freaking loved Lima, and I was like, dude, this is the biggest. Like, he will not replicate that. I got so much hate. And then 2000 happened, and I felt like an asshole because I enjoyed every bit of that epic fall from grace. But yeah, so he went.
I'm surprised that he broke his neck almost every time he went to the mound.
Yeah,
looking over the Crawford box.
He was the original Dubon.
Yeah.
In my book,
those are some good ones, man. Bros, we'll have to. Hell, I guess you got the next time we do this, you've already got 4 more in the chamber ready to go.
Yeah,
I do, and I was freezing up, man. I felt bad about that, but at the same time, yeah, I'm ready for it.
So Jason Lane, it was between Lucas Harrell and Jason Lane. So for me,
and when you said Lucas Harrell, I got him confused with the kid who threw the perfect game for the White Sox. And then the Astros brought him over, and I think that was 2013. And all the guys were listening to him. Oh, tell us, Grandpa, how you threw the perfect game. And I think he lasted like 3 starts, and they DFA'd him.
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah. So
looks, I figured with Jason Lane, like I thought he had at least a couple of good years with us, right? I mean, I really did, or more. So for me, I was trying to find like literally a one-hit wonder, or 1 year where like, and look, 11 wins is not a good year. It's not a good year.
And wasn't on the 2012 Astros.
Well, on 2012 Astros it was. You're right. That was and Brad Mills was the coach. And I forgot about Brad Mills as the manager.
Yeah. There's like, a handful of these coaches that like I'll look at them like, Holy
Holy
crap!
sh-
Yeah, that's right.
Those-
He did manage the Astros.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, man, I'm old. Holy
yeah,
God! Like I don't like
yeah.
Jimmy Williams is another one. Jimmy with
Jimmy
one M.
Williams. You got what? Bo Porter.
Oh,
I
Bo
saw
Porter,
that one
yeah.
today doing my
Yeah.
research. I was like,
Bo
Bo
Porter,
Porter.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just remember
crazy,
Bo Porter because he didn't know any of the rules and he would lose all the challenges. And then he'd have to walk back and find out that he was wrong because
Because
he
wasn't
didn't
he
know
a
the
base
rules.
coach? He was a base coach, right before he was a manager, or no?
I think after he became a manager, he became everybody's base coach. I think he's been on like 6 different teams now.
Yeah. Huh. Crazy. So that can be an episode too, where we just kind of, like you said, man, we just go back and just think about random
I'm
ass
saying,
Astro
like,
players, dude. You could
we're gonna
spend
have
a whole episode.
It's
on
gonna
it,
be
or
it's
longer.
gonna be a segment every single week. It's gonna be called
right.
"Oh yeah, he did play for the Astros."
Well, with that, man, we are going to wrap this episode up. I want to thank Chris for being here, Bryles for being here. We'll catch you up with anything that happens with Bregman. But as always, you are listening to the Juicebox Heroes podcast. I'm PK. That's Chris. And that's Bryles. And we'll talk to you next week.
You guys have a good weekend.